Aspirations for Sarawak's health autonomy, providing a quality healthcare service, manhunt for rape suspect in Bintulu. Those are the headlines for tonight. I'm Lorenzo Isaac and this is TVS Nightline. Sarawak is now putting its aspiration for health autonomy into words, of which may be included in Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin's white paper on healthcare reform that will be tabled in the October-November Parliament sitting. Deputy Premier of Sarawak, Datuk Seri Dr. Sim Kui Hian, said a task force has been set up to come up with a detailed report which will be approved by the Premier of Sarawak, Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, before it is presented to Khairi for a review. Dr. Sim, who is also the Minister of Public Health, Housing and Local Government, said among the aspects considered was the percentage of local health workers in Sarawak.
So we need to get all those, number one, at what stage, how many percent, like our nurses, we have more than 90% of nurses are Sarawakian. But then the nurses not good enough. It's our pharmacists 90%, our doctors 90%, our attendants 90%, medical assistant 90%. Now all these need to work out, and also in that, there will be also details in which how many hospitals need to be upgraded, and so on. So that when we get autonomy, we negotiate with federal government. So we not just keep on talking about the autonomy, we are doing homework.
He told reporters after the closing ceremony of the Innovative and Creative KIK Convention Group in Kuching on Wednesday. Previously, Dr. Sim continues to pursue autonomy over health and education matters as enshrined under the Malaysia Agreement 1963. Quality in healthcare is a production of cooperation between the patient and the healthcare provider in a supportive environment. The Deputy Premier of Sarawak, Datuk Seri Dr. Sim Kui Hian, stressed that the healthcare service provider in both the public and private sectors must consistently serve the patient by providing effective and efficient healthcare services according to the latest clinical guidelines and standards, which meets the patient's needs and satisfies providers. Dr. Sim explained that the service of the past that is more traditionally based is not sufficient to meet the demands of today's patients.
Benchmark against these new standards, if our services are still delivered based on traditional way, it may face dissatisfaction of the users, loss of fundings and revenue, loss of business and investment, deterioration of environment and health, especially in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic.
He told reporters after the closing ceremony of the Innovative and Creative KIK Convention Group in Kuching on Wednesday. At the same time, Dr. Sim, who is also the Minister of Public Health, Housing and Local Government, said investors played an important role in contributing toward a quality healthcare. Police are now tracking a rape suspect who is still at large, identified as Tengku Nasrul Haizal Muhammad Nasir, 33 years old, for a crime he allegedly committed on July 29. Bintulu Police Chief Superintendent Bartholomew Umpit said the suspect is a civil servant from Tumpat, Kelantan. At the same time, police appealed to the members of the public with information regarding the whereabouts of the suspect to come forward to the nearest police station or contact the investigating officer, Inspector Nurikman Hadi, at 019-451-5755 or channel any related information to the Bintulu Police Operation Room at 086-318-304. The case is being investigated under Section 376 of the Penal Code for rape. The 9th Infantry Brigade has foiled an attempt to smuggle 116 cartons of beer worth 90,000 ringgit into Brunei Darussalam at a jetty in Kampong Sibukang, Lembang. The 1st Infantry Division said in a statement 5 suspects, comprising 2 Bruneian men, 2 local men and a local woman, all between 24 and 53 years of age, were detained around 2:30 a.m. today. The 1st Infantry Division said in a statement 5 suspects comprising 2 Bruneian men, 2 local men and a local woman, all between 24 and 53 years of age, were detained around 2:30 a.m. on Wednesday. These suspects were spotted in a van parked at the jetty about 1 kilometer from the Malaysia-Brunei border. The army personnel then conducted checks on the vehicle and found cartons of the illicit alcohol. The van worth 30,000 ringgit was also seized together before being handed over to the district police headquarters for further action. The 1st Infantry Division added it will continue to monitor and tighten security controls to safeguard the nation from the illegal entry of immigrants and cross-border criminal activities. The Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs KPD and HEP Enforcement Unit seized a total of 12,400 litres of subsidised diesel during a raid in Miri on Wednesday. Miri Branch Enforcement Chief Joe Asmi Jamil, the operation was carried out after 3 weeks of surveillance on the premises believed to be hoarding the subsidised diesel located in Tukau. In a statement issued on Wednesday, the premises is believed to be keeping stock of subsidized diesel in the district. During the raid, the KPD and HEP enforcement team found 12,400 litres of diesel and apprehended a man aged 20 who failed to provide written permission to possess the controlled articles from the supply controller. Joe Asmi said the man is currently being detained to facilitate the investigation conducted under Section 20 in bracket 1 of the Control of Supplies Act 1961, together with Section 21 of the same Act. He said the initial investigations indicated that the modus operandi was to purchase diesel from fuel stations before transferring it from a lobby into barrels for sales to factories and estates around Miri at industrial prices. It is estimated that the value of the seized diesel amounts to 26,660 ringgit. Also confiscated during the raid were a lorry, 2 pumps and 6 hoses of various sizes valued at 150,000 ringgit. Tanjung Manis has the potential to be developed as a pineapple plantation hub where the commercial fruit could be a big income earner, contributing largely to the state's economy. Pusaka Food Industry, PFI Sendirian Berhad and the Malaysian Pineapple Industry Board have signed a memorandum of understanding to develop and expand the pineapple growing industry not only in Tanjung Manis but also in Sarawak as a whole.
Deputy Minister of Urban Planning, Land Administration and Environment, Datuk Len Talif Saleh said, in accordance with Sarawak's long-term planning to be a sustainable state, Pusaka Food Industry aims to make Sarawak a hub of pineapple cultivation and an agricultural-based food exporter by 2030.
Pada masa ini kita sudah menanamkan hasil daripada MOU ini juga kita sudah bermula, sebenarnya sudah bermula 2 tahun setahun yang lepas dengan menanamkan nanas sebanyak 300 lebih ekar. Tapi target kita, sasaran kita ialah untuk menanam sampai 2,000 ekar, 2,000 hektar di kawasan penggunaan. Tapi apa yang akan kita jalankan ialah di mana projek ini merupakan penglibatan lembaga nanas bersama dengan anak syarikat pusaka dan juga penduduk-penduduk setempat yang mana kebanyakan mereka ialah petani.
The MOU is expected to lead a new revolution to the pineapple cultivation industry in Malaysia. He added that this collaboration is not only between state agencies and private companies, but also involve the cooperation between the state government and the federal government.
The advent of social media and the internet give rise to alternative career options for school leavers, such as social media content creators and gig workers. Its charm is simple, a flexible schedule, and lucrative income. But how viable is this alternative career option when compared to professional jobs? Today, we had the opportunity to discuss with Dr. Su Winchi, Associate Professor of University Technology Mara, UiTM College of Creative Arts, elaborating on the matter, as she herself is experienced in dabbling with both spectrums of career choices.
I think that, like, for me, I guess that it is, well, gig economy is not bad, but the thing is, like, in overseas as well, education must continue, and it's very deep nowadays. How long can a gig economy or content creator or even social media last, or even me myself as a social media content creator or into the gig economy and stuff, because we are musician and all those things. But the thing is, I saw that always there will be newcomer. Always there will be new trend, and you have no idea when you'll be taken over, or people will, new people are coming up, frequently, and as well as your audience level. So I am also seeing, we are predicting that the next KOL will be KOE, will be key opinion educator, where you need certificate no matter what, So the thing is, like, you can earn a lot of money now, but the thing is it long term? Is still questionable. So I think that it's okay to do everything together, because there's so many different part-time mode of studying and all these things. Of course, the study industry have to, education industry have to evolve as well, because nowadays everyone is tough. I cannot blame that they suddenly go and do a gig economy or other social media creator, but it's okay to go and try and continue. But the thing is, that you don't need to require 24 hours. There are still time for you to study. And
on producing content, Sue said planning is essential because it can take up a significant amount of time. She spends about 8 hours per day while juggling other endeavors, including her multiple qualifications in various fields.
I really went into studying and all this, and I interviewed a lot of great, social media creator and all those things. So I come up with the point that a lot of times it's not just the numbers, and a lot of time it's your brand positioning. And if you are into just the money or into the numbers, it's going to be very tiring, because once you chase that, it's the same as fame. In art line, before social media invented, I guess that, we have fame, we have television, we have radio, but it's always come back to what's your mission, vision, and your values. I started off with, I want to motivate people and I want to bring people to be more educated and stuff. So things have evolved, but if you just follow the trend, you'll be controlled by the trend. So I guess that it is a good career. It is okay to do experiment and stuff, but it's not, I would say that it's not everything. We come in the thing as well, the online thing must penetrate to offline sales as well. So like client will hire you to promote their things, but it must see the sales offline.
When it comes to picking either experience or education, Sue stated that both are equally important. With higher education, a skilled person will be able to maneuver better with the industry.
So I always think that it's best of both worlds. So, but always plan your own timeline. And there are a lot of ways of studying nowadays. You can do part-time. It doesn't mean that you always need to do full-time. In overseas, well, if you go overseas now and stuff, you see the content creator, you'll be shocked. All of them are like double master holder, a PhD holder, because we need certified people, because we also seen that, social media creator, it had, gone beyond just being dumb on the surface, all these things. It's very intellectual already, because it still comes to intellectual property. It still comes to a lot of people will grow. You can't grow dumber, right? You only can grow smarter. So I always say that, of course, but don't burden yourself with too expensive education. I don't encourage that. So I always think that it's manageable. There are a lot of ways for education nowadays. So work and experience is very important. Some of us are really, we say, it's very extreme. We went like work and study together.
Coming up right after the break, censorship of LGBTQIA issues. Dewan Negara passes Housewives Social Safety Bill 2022. Right here on TVS Nightline. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The promotion of lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender LGBT lifestyle are on the rise in both films and social media platforms. As such, the government and religious institutions will continue to censor elements or scenes deemed to be promoting the inappropriate culture. Deputy Communications and Multimedia Minister Zahidi Zainul Abidin said the government is always monitoring such platforms and will take severe action against individuals found promoting such elements. He said that the government will not be able to control the contents broadcast on platforms like online streaming and over-the-top OTT platforms based abroad such as Netflix.
Walau bagaimanapun, kita akan komplain, MCMC akan komplain kalau ada aduan, contoh Netflix, kita akan hantar kepada Netflix. Tapi bagi pihak Netflix, platform luar negara ni, dia contohnya klasifikasi maknanya yang menjejaskan ataupun akhlak mereka tu kita tak tahu. Bagi mereka setengah tu buka baju tak ada masalah. Jadi di luar negara ni buka baju tak ada masalah, bagi kita tak masalah. Kan? Jadi maknanya susah kita nak klasifikasi. Kalau kita komplain pun makna klasifikasi mereka.
Zahidi said this in reply to a question from Senator Ahmad Yahaya, who wanted to know the ministry's position on a proposal to control the contents and programs broadcast or released on platforms like Netflix to curb inappropriate culture among the community. He said accepting or rejecting the broadcast and streaming of content on such platforms was the choice of users through subscription, but subscribers were urged to exercise self-control. Zahidi said parents and guardians could control the exposure of their children or loved ones to such content by applying special passwords or PIN numbers to restrict access. The Dewan Negara passed the Housewives Social Safety Bill 2022 on Wednesday, August 10. When winding up the debate on the bill, Deputy Minister of Human Resources Ministry, Dato' Awang Hashim, said his ministry and the Social Security Organisation, SUGSO, would implement various measures to encourage husbands to contribute to the Housewives Social Safety Scheme for their spouse. He said this included a proposal of tax exemption for the husbands, as well as a matching contribution incentive where part of the contribution would be borne by certain parties, such as the government.
In addition, Awang said KSM through SOCSO will intensify awareness campaigns through engagement sessions, roadshows, Prihatin Squad activities, and its social synergy program to encourage husbands to contribute to the SKSSR. Earlier, when winding up the debate on the Employment Social Security Amendment Bill 2022, Awang said a total of 1,090 disabled individuals had been registered under the SOCSO Employment Service, adding that under the Return to Work program, a total of 48,354 persons with disabilities have secured employment from January 2007 until last Friday, August 5th. During the debate, Senator Dato' Ras Adiba Muhammad Razi wanted to know the statistics on the number of disabled workers registered in the SOCSO system and the number of disabled people who are currently receiving benefits under the organization. The bill was then passed by the Senate with majority support. The Employment Insurance System Amendment Bill 2022 was also approved. The Dewan Negara sitting continues on Wednesday, August 10.
The constitutional amendment to prohibit members of parliament from switching parties are expected to be enforced latest by middle of September. According to the Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Parliament and Law, Dato' Sri Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jafar, this expectation was consistent with the timeline set out on the tabling and approval of the Constitution Amendment Bill, which requires the King's consent.
He said this when asked on the time frame for the bill to become law and whether it could be enforced before GE15 is held. Earlier, the Dewan Negara passed the Constitution Amendment Bill No. 3 on anti-party hopping by MPs with a more than two-thirds majority after obtaining the support of 52 of 60 senators in 2 rounds of block voting. Wan Junaidi said, after being passed, the bill would now go through the process of assent by the King in accordance with Article 66 of the Federal Constitution before it can be gazetted into law and enforced. Wan Junaidi also said the proposal for Malaysia to allow the holding of recall elections to prevent party hopping by elected representatives needed further study. The government would hold engagement sessions with stakeholders like political parties, non-governmental organizations, and civil society to discuss the proposal. He said the matter needed to be studied carefully because countries which conducted recall elections had also faced their own set of problems in its implementation.
Now on to some global affairs. The entire Japanese government has resigned, with the new government led by the Prime Minister Fumio Kishida expected to be announced soon. A special meeting of the cabinet started at 11:30 a.m. local time. Originally, the government reshuffle was supposed to be carried out in early September. However, due to the intention to accelerate the promotion of his economic concept of new capitalism, the Prime Minister has decided to speed up the reshuffle process in the government. Serena Williams, one of the greatest athletes of all time and a 23-time Grand Slam singles champion, has announced that she is retiring from professional tennis, indicating that she could step away after the upcoming US Open. In a column for Vogue, the 40-year-old Williams described her intention to finish her playing career as an evolution away from tennis. Williams has spent much of the past few years off the court preparing for the moment she decided to move on, including by setting up a venture capital company, Serena Ventures, and investing in various organizations. However, she explained that one of her biggest reasons for retirement is her intention to further expand her family. Williams gave birth to her first child, Alexis Olympia, in 2017. Despite the various outside interests that Williams has enjoyed since her youth, Williams has also consolidated one of the lengthiest careers of all time at the top level of the sport, behind only her 42-year-old sister, Venus. She has embarked on innumerable comebacks, including twice after suffering from life-threatening pulmonary embolisms. Williams turned professional age 14 in 1995 and was a teenage phenomenon, winning her first Grand Slam title age 17 at the 1999 US Open. Despite the mileage in her legs now, Williams contrasted her feelings with the seemingly happy retirements of the 26-year-old Ashley Barty in March and the 32-year-old Caroline Wozniacki, her close friend, in 2020. The term business refers to an organization or enterprising entity engaged in commercial, industrial, or professional activities. To know more about the topic, join guest Didia Ain, local actress and entrepreneur on Sejahtera Asia tomorrow with hosts Jonathan Ding and Alexan, 7:45 a.m. only on TVS Astro Channel 122 and My Freeview. That's all the time we have for the news at Nightline. For more updates, head on to our official website at TVSTVMY or follow us on our social media platforms. I'm Lorenzo Isaac. Thank you for watching.